I believe I have figured out what the most difficult thing about learning how to skateboard is. If you think you know what the most difficult thing about skateboarding is, pause this video right now, leave it in the comments below. Several days back, I took a slam on the skateboard. And it was one of those silly things where I was hardly moving, caught a pebble, weight distribution was wrong, slammed hard. Every cell in my body felt like it got injured. I wanted to puke. I felt like I was going to pass out from the pain. Luckily, I wasn't injured. Hurt, but not injured. I wasn't wearing any padding or anything. I was just sort of dorking around on the sidewalk, flat ground. So the next couple days, I gave it a rest, let my body heal from that impact. And then yesterday, came to the park and started doing some vert, right? Just going back and forth, getting very vertical with the skateboard. And before I did that, every cell in my body informed me to put on all of my protective gear, even my body armor, my tailbone protector, everything. It's ridiculous. And then I started doing some vert and really had a lot of fun with it. Started touching the coping with my wheels. And then, of course, I took the fall from about, I guess, 6 foot or so up, and took a slam. But this time, I had all of my body armor on, and I just laughed. It was just funny. It didn't hurt, right? It prevented what would have probably been some massive injury. So, what is the most difficult thing to learn in skateboarding? No, it's not the ollie. It's not riding fakie. It's not vert or dropping in. All those things are very difficult. But it turns out the thing that's most difficult in skateboarding turns out to be the same thing that's most difficult in martial arts. Have you guessed it yet? The ego. Checking your ego is huge in skateboarding. In skateboarding, they say, it's 80% just mental, 20% physical. And that's very much the same thing in martial arts, I guess, in a lot of disciplines. But so much in skateboarding. And behind me, you'll see Joe's Park here is got a lot of skaters, most of them probably 15 years of age or younger. Less than half of them wearing any sort of protective gear. And most of them just wearing like a helmet. So, as a grown man approaching 60 years of age, just learning to get back onto the skateboard, putting my ego in check and just putting on the damn protective gear is a huge blow to your ego. But nowhere as near of a blow or a slam as screwing up in a skate park when you're 6 foot up in the air, right? Now, you may say this is exclusive to old guys like myself, but really, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Even as a youth, I think it's wise to not count on your regenerative abilities as much, because a lot of this scar tissue and a lot of these things, this damage, you'll carry on into your life as you get older, and it may prevent you from ever skating again. So if you really love skating, or in my case also martial arts, you really have to put your ego in check, and then don't put yourself in injury's way. Now, I don't always wear the protective gear, just like you don't always have to practice certain safety measures in any given activity or sport. Essentially, once you really become accustomed and you know what you're doing and you don't have to think about it, you can usually let go of a lot of the safety measures that you would put in place. But as you're just starting out, or as I'm just starting out, it is so monumental to make sure that I put my ego in check, put on all that safety gear, and make safety a priority. Not number 2 or 3, but a safety a priority number 1. And of course, once you're familiar and you know what you're doing, you're not having to thinking about it. Well, that is the safety measure. That is your protective gear, is that familiarity. That doing it so much that now you don't even think about it. You just do the right things. So I can't tell you how much Wing Chun is like that. Putting your ego aside, making sure that you follow what I call the 3 rules of Wing Chun. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you can check in to look at the Sifu Z's 12 laws, and the 3 rules precede the 12 laws. But one of the main rules is, whatever you're trying to do, make sure that you do a lot of it. The more you do it, the more you establish that sort of safety that's required to survive high level activities. So, all right, I'm going to make this video short. I hope you can get something out of that. Be sure to visit my site, sifuz.com, and you can also join us over at patreon.com/sifuz, and you can listen to my podcast where I play my music and do the least amount of talking as possible. That's over at anchor.fm/integrity. Again, that's anchor.fm/integrity, and you'll be able to hear my podcast, which is called Integrity Radio. And, oh, by the way, you can probably hear that on Apple or any of the other podcasting streams. Now, I think that's it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you in the next video.